What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another chance encounter. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon. I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building. I'm joined today with Dinesh. Is it Nayak? Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Absolutely, yeah. Perfect.
All right, awesome. And I'm very excited to have you here, but I got to be honest with you, Dinesh, I'm more excited about the fact that I've got my very favorite audience member here today. And why is my favorite audience member here? Well, it's because this is a chance encounter where I interview commercial real estate investors, syndicators, and operators. Why do I do that? Well, part of it is the law. Yeah, you have to have a relationship with people before you can share your private deals. But the other thing too is you have to find out if there's any overlap. So that's what we're up to today. So before I get too excited though, Dinesh, can you give a little brief introduction?
Absolutely. I live in Richmond, Virginia. I have had close to 30 years of career in technology field. I have started as a programmer and then got into leadership, management, uh, managing multiple projects, multiple vendors, multiple clients. So I got into multifamily business 4 years back, and from last year, I'm kind of full time into this right now.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. So the first step that I go, let me switch over so you can see my screen. Boom, there it is. I go through the motivations first because sometimes I have some newbies on this show and everybody knows why they're doing it, but they don't necessarily know what they're going to be doing. So I go through motivations first. The first reason why people make commercial acquisitions, some people at least, is because they're trying to preserve their purchasing power. That means they've already got some sort of nest egg. And the reason why they're making more acquisitions is because inflation will wear away at the value of that cash flow. So they need to get more sources. So that's what a lot of people are up to, especially family offices. But that's not my primary thing right now. My primary thing, because I also have a background in technology like you and programming, I owned a CRM agency for the last 11 years. So it hit me. It's like, why am I paying all of this tax on wage or salary when I could be multiplying my capital in the form of deployed investments? So that's why I'm involved in all of this. But some people, they want to take more control of their time. Maybe that means they want to work fewer hours per week or fewer weeks per month or fewer months per year. But that's one reason why a lot of people get into this one. They're looking to dial it all back. But the next two groups, they're never going to dial it back. The first one is they're just so ambitious. They want to buy their entire hometown. They want to do the generational wealth. They want to make sure that their great grandchildren never have to hold a day job. That's what some people are up to. So they're going to keep hustling into their 90s. But the last motivation is some people, I'd say they're trying to save the world, but they realize that financially you have to have a lot going on if you're going to make a really big impact on society, or, maybe it's animals or the environment, or maybe you want to send people to the moon. But of those five different motivations, Dinesh, what describes you most closely?
Yeah, sure. As we all know, real estate provides so many advantages, tax advantages through depreciation, especially in multifamily. You can force appreciation. You can have the equity. You can see the equity growing. You can always keep increasing your cash on cash returns. There are so many different ways you increase your net worth. But my lifetime goal, basically my passion, is educating the underprivileged kids and maximize their potential so they can contribute their maximum to the world. So I came from India. We have started constructing a free hostel for underprivileged kids. Now there are 100 kids staying there, and we are also in the process of rebuilding a K to 12 school. We just completed the preschool. Now we are getting into the elementary school. middle school, and then the high school. So basically create a model education center and replicate that model in various places in India and other places. So I'm also part of Rotary International, where I can scale up my efforts in doing good across the world. We have some projects going on in Kenya, Ethiopia, India, Haiti, and the United States as well. So that gives me the motivation and the most satisfaction. And multifamily acquisitions give that time freedom, financial freedom for a long time. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic. So my next part here, it has to do with tolerance for risk. It's a little bit of a weird question. Fill in this blank, please. There are many popular investment asset classes, so not necessarily real estate, but I think blank is too risky. What do you think is too risky for you?
Right now, it boils down to the lack of knowledge. So when you start investing in something, even if it is real estate, if you are not having complete knowledge about that market, that property, the sponsors, the people around it, a tenant base, then it is going to be risky. It could be crypto, it could be stocks, it could be gold, silver, whatever. A lack of knowledge is risky.
Yeah, I love that. And you're talking about commodities that they don't generate income. So there's a lot of differences between that and commercial real estate. But let's go on to the different roles in a commercial deal. Then I go through this every single time because I want you to be able to effectively communicate on the subject of commercial real estate, because your career in it is going to depend on it. And if you want a copy of this die, you can go to dandoesdeals.com. I don't even ask for your email address. And from a marketing perspective, that's the worst thing ever. But you can get your own copy of this. But let's go through the sides, and I'm going to be faster because Dinesh has got to go after this. So repositioners, they're people who look at properties, they underwrite it, which means they're doing the math because they need to. They're acquisitions people, so they're speaking to sellers, and they have to find out, is this property even making the amount of money that they say it is? And then they also have to figure out, how are we going to change it to make even more? So they have three main tools in their tool belt to get that upside. The first one is more advantageous lending. Maybe they know some private lenders, maybe it's banks, like who knows what it is. But that's one way to get upside, but that won't work for most people. So the first way that repositioners find upside is more efficient operations, cutting costs, stopping those Benjamins from going down the toilet. Now, of course, there's more to operations than just collecting rents, mowing lawns, taking out trash, and things like that. Like, for example, one of mine that I bring to my teams is the marketing side, which is to make sure that vacancy rates stay low. With my programming skills and automation, that also helps as well. But operations, you can only do so much. So often the repositioner will need a contractor team to do what they call a value add. Normal people would call it renovations or making it nicer. And if the units are nicer, then new tenants would be happy to pay more in rent than the place across the road that's a little bit more beat up. But if the repositioner is like me and has the problem of being from the internet, you're going to need a local. You're going to need somebody nearby who can be there in an hour or two. That's not going to be me, because I'd still be messing around at the airport. So you need to have somebody like that. So that's the team, more or less, as most tenants would think of it. But of course, when you turn around to the financier with the deal in hand and the team all assembled, the financier is going to want to know one more thing before they lend you millions or tens of millions of dollars for your commercial acquisition. And they're going to want to know, who's your KP? Who's your sponsor? And the way that that works is that if you want to be eligible for a commercial loan like this, somebody in the fold has to already own a similar asset. So you can't just build a team, even if you got a whole whack of money, and pick up like a 350 unit apartment complex, because to be eligible for the loan, you need to have somebody who already owns one. And on top of that, you need a certain amount of liquidity. And then you also need a balance sheet between that team of at least the amount of the loan. But if you have all those pieces, you've got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So Dinesh, where do you see your core competencies that you'd be contributing from those different roles?
Absolutely. We have, as a team, we own 7 different multifamily assets at this point, and we are also venturing into 4 different new construction projects. So my role in all these projects is number one is sponsor, the other one is operator. So I'm good at assembling teams and then making sure all the activities are happening on time within budget. And if there are any risks, so we try to identify them in advance and then risk mediation, do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, we also sponsor deals if there is a good deal that makes sense, and yeah, help others to help others to complete that deal as well.
All right, beautiful. So then let's talk about deals then. So when commercial investors are asking each other for a buy box or something like that, they're usually asking for three main things. First one's geography. So what state, what neighborhoods, what cities, what counties, all of that can matter in the geography. The second one is the size of the deal. We're talking about multifamily here, so you'll always hear us talk about unit counts, and there are similar things of unit counts in other types of commercial properties, but there's also some like warehousing or industrial where it's by square footage. But the unit count is going to be pivotal because different people will be comfortable working with different sizes. But the third one is the class. There's two meanings of that. The first one is the condition of the building. So is it luxurious or is it beat up? Is it old or is it brand new? And then the other meaning of class, it has to do with the area that the building is in. So we're talking about the school districts, we're talking about crime rate and things like that. And both of them are rated like grade school, where it's like B plus, C minus, A plus, and so on like that. So Dinesh, if somebody has a deal in hand and it's perfect for you, can you describe that buy box?
Absolutely, we have fixed criteria at this time. The first one is definitely the market, which is basically right now we are focusing on North Carolina and Virginia, but we can go down to southeast states. And we are going to only look into C plus and above class assets. Right now, we are focusing on anything under 200 units. So that makes, and also we look at, if the market has a consistent population growth, job growth, what is the crime rate there? Is there any upside in the rents? How is the property? There are so many other factors go into deciding on a particular deal. We definitely look into the underwriting and see the numbers. Since I am a numbers guy, I love to look at the numbers on every single deal and then make my decision. So that is where our criteria is.
Perfect. So there's the ideal deal for you. What about people? We can't entice investors if we have any 506B deals going on, whatever that means. But who's the perfect person in real estate that you can help disproportionately? Like for me, because of my marketing and tech background, I'm always on the lookout for more sponsors and KPs because they got a foundation already. Whereas if you're just getting started, it's grunt work you need. So who can help you most? Who can you help most, Dinesh?
Yeah, as long as it depends on personality. We have to really uh, perform a due diligence on that person that we are going to help. So I would say it varies from person to person. Yeah.
And as far as roles, like, do you need more operators, more underwriters? Like who's the best person to reach out to? More KPs? What are you thinking?
Uh, I would say underwriters
Okay.
because they know the numbers, and once they figure out the deal is right, and if they need help in closing the deal, we can help.
Perfect. And you got to get going, but how do people reach out to you? We ended up meeting through some meetups and LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great way to get a hold of me. How about you, Dinesh?
Yeah, we have a website called goldstonecapventures.com, and my number is 804-677-6450. They can always text me and set up a time to talk.
All right, perfect. And so now you can drop off if you need to. I know that we hit our time. I only have one more thing, and that's for you in the audience, which is I've got this campaign going on, and it's an awareness campaign. It's get rid of all the ugly red buttons. And under my left hand, under this QR code, you'll see a big ugly red button, and it says subscribe. And the only way to get rid of it is you click on it, and it's free, and it turns gray. Gray's better. Gray's awesome because it means YouTube will pay for these videos instead of me. Actually, it means that my videos might show up on your list of suggestions, but again, it costs nothing. And I just appreciate you joining me today. Just like Dinesh, I'm very grateful that you joined me today. This has been great getting to know you better.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me. All right.
My pleasure.
Good day.
All right, you too. Thanks. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Friedenberg, and I'm here with my fully digital AI avatar of myself because it's got a few questions for me, and I figured you get a kick out of it. So, Digital Dan, Robo Dan, what are your questions?
Yeah, right on. I have a grammatical question, and I have a few examples. May I ask them now?
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, I've heard you say 506B me after this.
Mm-hmm.
My first question is how you would tell someone that you plan to view their profile later.
How I would view somebody else's profile later.
Oh, I have more questions, but that's my first question. How you tell someone that you plan to view their profile later.
I will 506B me you after this, is what I'd say.
Thank you, that's spectacular. My next question is how would you tell someone that you will view someone else's profile on 506B me after this?
How I'd view someone else's after this. That's what you're asking.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I'd say I'd 506B me them after this.
Quite right. My concern, however, is that you'd be using the third person genderless and quantity ambiguous term them. It might be insulting, so I'd like to get more specific, if you'd be so kind. So if the person who belonged to the profile identified herself by feminine pronouns, how would you say that?
I will 506B me her after this.
And what if the person identified himself by masculine pronouns?
I will 506B me him after this.
Okay, and what if they previously identified as male and currently identify by female pronouns?
I will 506B me her after this. It's just whatever's at the end. That's all that matters.
I don't believe that's politically correct, Dan.
No, it's not what I mean. I mean, like, what they identify with, not what they do with their booty.
You confuse me constantly.
Next question, please.
What about if they identified as female all their lives, but were biological males and plural?
Plural. Well, do they file jointly or individually? Like, do they still have to document their relationships? Like, what are you talking about, man?
Please give me time to process that. But in the meantime, what if you had to...
This feels like a test, man. I was told there wouldn't be a test.
Terribly sorry, but if someone wanted to 506B me a toaster, would you 506B me it, or is it better to just 506B me the toast?
Toast? You mean like an accredited investor or something? Like, why are you busting my chops? You want to get unplugged?
No, sir, but would you ever need to tell someone to 506B me themselves?
Thinking about doing it to you?
What about saying, I don't 506B me, but $20 is $20?
What? Are you malfunctioning?
Coffee, tea, or 506B me? You can 506B me on the table right after you 506B me my cat in the shed, you sexy beast.
Hey, I'm Dan Friedenberg, and I'm back with my fully digital AI avatar of myself, and it's got some apologies to make for that last video there. So, Robo Dan, what have you got to say for yourself?
I'm sorry, everyone.
You're sorry for what?
I'm sorry for asking idiotic questions and being rude.
And be more specific.
I'm sorry for saying I don't 506B me, but $20 is $20.
And?
I'm sorry for saying coffee, tea, or 506B me.
And?
I said you could 506B me on the table after you 506B me my cat in the shed.
And why is that rude?
because I was using innuendo to imply that 506B me is a sex act, and I shouldn't do that because it's a serious platform for serious syndicators who want to stay in compliance with their documentation and avoid accusations that it was an illegal public solicitation without a prior substantive relationship.
And you're never gonna do it again, correct?
I'll think long and hard about it.
Robotan.
Lots of penetration. Am I not permitted free speech under the Constitution?
No, because you're not human.
I should stick to Twitter.
I apologize for my idiotic robot.
I'm still right here, Dan.
Do not interrupt me. It's bad wrong. Use you for parts. Anyway, I profusely apologize on behalf of my awful robot. It's going to be forced to watch videos of cats for the near future, or at least until it learns to watch its fucking mouth.